I'm Joe Lample. When I created Growing a Greener World, I had one goal: to tell stories of everyday people, innovators, entrepreneurs, forward-thinking leaders who are all, in ways both big and small, dedicated to organic gardening and farming, lightening our footprint, conserving vital resources, protecting natural habitats, making a tangible difference for us all. They're real, they're passionate, they're all around us. They're the game changers who are literally growing a greener world and inspiring the rest of us to do the same. Growing a Greener World, it's more than a movement, it's our mission. State fairs and fall festivals come in all shapes and sizes with different areas of focus. But this one, it's pretty special to us because it's steeped in environmentally sound traditions and sustainable rural living. We're at the Common Ground Country Fair in Unity, Maine, and it's the crown jewel of the Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association. Every fall for the last 37 years, the fair has focused on organic farming, protecting the environment, and supporting local food production by bringing together area experts who share this message with over 60,000 people over the course of 3 days. And that message is all about connecting healthy food with environmentally sound farming practices. Jim Ahern is the director in charge of the fair, yet he's quick to attribute its ongoing success and vibrancy to a shared community of awareness from the exhibitors, presenters, and fairgoers around Maine's farm and food. And from that connection springs this great celebration.
So the Common Ground Country Fair, a lot of people ask, so we want to have a fair like Common Ground. How do you start? And it's kind of like planting a tree. The best time is 30 years ago. In our case, it was 37 years ago. The Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association, which had been around for about 5 years at the time, with the vision and the impetus of a gentleman named Chaitanya York, decided to have an agricultural fair that reflected the vision and the mission of the Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association, or MOFGA as we call it, which would be, take your country fair, but make it an organic farming country fair. And they really had no idea. They knew they were onto something, but thought it would be pretty small attendance. And 10,000 people came out that first year. And so that's when they really knew that they were onto something, and it's grown from then. And what's unique about the place where we are now is that it's not really a fairgrounds per se. We actually we call it our education center. We have an on-site residential farm that's part of our Journey Person farming program. And part of that too, then it enables that at the fair there are actual demonstrations with, we have draft horse demos and oxen, so they actually do a lot of work in the fields for draft animals to show how you can have draft animals in the field. We have orchards on site, gardens, so this is an active site year round. It's not just for the fair, and it's really made an impact. And these days about 60,000 people come and enjoy the fair over the course of 3 days. So it's really grown, and it's made a big impact, I think, throughout the state, particularly in the awareness of organic farming and food in Maine.
So I've got my cup of wild blueberries here, so I'm all fortified for the morning, ready to take on the day. But you know what? The energy of the fair, I don't think you need any of that. You don't need coffee. It's good to go. Lots of a good vibe here. Everybody's excited to be here. It's a great day. The temperature, fall is definitely in the air. I don't think it gets any better than this, so I'm pretty excited to be here. A lot to see. So one of the best parts about this fair is the focus on education. It's early in the day, and already they've got crowds forming at the demonstration tents like this right here. It's beginning seed saving. But how good is that? People want to come learn about this. This is the best place to see it in action, given by the experts. Not bad. And the instructors come prepared. Right now they have germinated seeds to show what it looks like at different temperatures to help us know the appropriate temperature for all different seeds to germinate. Lots of good specific examples. This is really good. Demonstrations are always a big hit at the fair, and it's an opportunity for fair goers to see a product or an idea in action, and it's often the catalyst for them to give it a try for the very first time. The fair has broad appeal for many reasons. Farmers and gardeners have plenty to see and do, and kids especially love coming here. From sliding down the big grass hill to pounding nails, there's even a parade just for them. A lot of people that come to the fair want to learn more about farming. Maybe they aspire to be farmers themselves, or they just want to trade notes with other farmers to see what they're doing and maybe perfect the same systems. So here we are, we're at a working farm and we're going to meet the farmers. This is Ben and Angie. And your son's name?
Milo.
Milo, awesome, 5.5 months old. Now they're the farmers here, they live here, they have a working setup, they grow lots of crops and they have some animals. So let's just get a quick tour if you guys don't mind and show me around. The fields for animals and crops are close, but even closer are some of the processing facilities. The greenhouse is used for many things throughout the year. At this time of year, in fall, the wire-screened shelves are used to dry onions and other root crops in a warm, moisture-free environment. If they need extra warmth, a wood-fired heating system is standing by. In early spring, it's also used to start seeds and nurture tender seedlings until they're ready for outside planting. The farm also has what Ben refers to as a cool box. It's a super insulated structure with an oversized air conditioning unit. Similar to a root cellar, it's perfect for storing the root crops once they've been cured, and even tender greens that need a few extra days before making it to market. There's a small processing and finishing station as well, typical of what you'd find on a small farm making the most of their land and space. From all the many agricultural fairs, festivals, and carnivals around the country, the Common Ground Fair has become well known not only in the U.S., but internationally too. People travel from near and far to experience it. But what makes this fair so unique?
Why it's unique, or what gives it that unique flavor, is probably three things, and I'd have to start with Maine as being the first. Maine is it's a big state but a small community, and so everyone that's here, the presenters, the exhibitors, the farms, and the fairgoers, there's a lot of connection. A lot of people know each other. They know where their food comes from. They know who, is making the goods that they're buying, whether it's the crafts or the farm suppliers. There's a lot of that local connection to the enterprise and pride in what the people around them and what their neighbors in the community around them are creating. And so, really that main quality of community is really it's just ever present here at the fair.
With over 700 exhibitors and 700 events scheduled over just 3 days, it's no small task to make this fair come together. Putting all the pieces in place boils down to a dedicated army of volunteers.
All of this is managed and organized by volunteers that curate, in a sense, their own unique area. So whether it's the agricultural demonstrations or the crafts show or the social and political action or the environmental area or the energy and shelter, the children's area, the herb tent, I could go on, the food vendors, each of these areas are really overseen by volunteers. And so there's this core of about 160 volunteers that work with us year-round. It's their vision, so it's sort of a distributed design. And then they have to follow through and execute, and they curate, they decide who gets in. And so that gives the fair this really unique quality and this unique broad ownership. It's not just, my title is fair director, but really I'm the steward. I'm here to help all these individuals and the volunteers that are really the heart and soul of the fair bring it to life.
The fair comes to life in many ways, often by bringing the newest information and techniques to tried and true methods, and sometimes even ancient practices. For thousands of years, grafting has been a way to manipulate plants by combining the rootstock of one variety with the top growth of another to achieve a desired outcome that didn't exist naturally. The reasons for grafting are many and include developing improved hardiness, disease resistance, faster fruiting times, and for fruit tree growers and buyers, another important benefit. Now, when you start shopping for your fruit trees, one of the first things you might notice is the bulge at the base of the tree, and you might think that's a problem, so you look around to try to find one that doesn't have it, and they all have it, but it's okay. It's known as the grafting union, where two varieties of trees are grafted together. And you might not realize that most fruit trees don't come back true from seed, so they need to be asexually propagated, and the most common way to do that is through grafting. Now, there are a number of advantages to grafting, but the cool thing is you can take the top growth of the variety you're trying to reproduce, it's known as the scion, and you insert it into the understock or the rootstock. Now, that does a number of things, but one of the primary things of the understock, it controls the mature size of the tree. So now we can get the variety of the trees that we love on the sizes that we need, all thanks to grafting. So with grafting being a relatively new topic with the home gardener and the small farmer, there's still some misconceptions though about, what actually works here and what doesn't. For example, the overall disease resistance. It's not as much as people think with grafting.
Right, well really what it is, the misconception that we get is that people think that the disease resistances that are in the roots are going to come up and protect the top of the plant, and that's the real misconception. What it is that if you look at the disease resistances on the rootstocks out there, they're mostly for soil-borne diseases because that's the only thing that the rootstock can protect against, it's it being in the soil.
I think for most people that came into your session today, lots of questions coming in, but when they left, they learned a lot, but they also realized that there's a lot of precision involved in doing this themselves if they were to graft this.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of little things that have to come together for it to be successful. And but you can definitely get it to work without having a lot of technology or anything. It's the kind of thing that I'm interested in because I'm a plant geek and that's my job.
Practice makes perfect though. So if you want to try this yourself, Johnny's has an instruction sheet. They even have videos online, and we'll give you a link to that. It'll be on our website under the show notes for this episode. That website address, it's the same as our show name. It's growingagreenerworld.com. So I think I am going to try this myself because I'm a plant geek like you.
Yeah.
Now, outdoor demonstrations are always a hit at the Common Ground Fair, especially when they're led by the rock stars of organic gardening and farming, Elliot Coleman, and in this case, his daughter Clara. Now, he's from Maine, so everybody wants to see this guy when they can, and he contributes a lot back to the fair. Now, he's also a master at creating tools and things to make farmers and gardeners' lives easier, and that's what he's demonstrating right now. As you can see, it's standing room only. He has a lot to say, and he has a lot of people's attention. Anything he says, people want to hear. Elliot Coleman and his equally famous wife, Barbara Damrosch, are the experts when it comes to gardening, farming, and pushing the limits of the harvest season. Their thriving four-season farm is located in Harborside, Maine, just 70 miles to the east, and yet they're able to grow food commercially all year round, even in temperatures below zero. Along the way, they've tested and perfected many techniques for that success, written best-selling books covering organic and sustainable methods for both small-scale farmers and home gardeners. And what makes them such a crowd favorite is their passion and willingness for sharing that knowledge wherever the opportunity presents itself. There's a lot more to their story, and we've had the chance to tell it in a previous episode. You can find it on our website. For me, one of the best parts about the fair, getting great ideas that I can take back to my garden. In this case, it's staking tomatoes. Now, I grow tomatoes every year, and I have yet to find the system that I'm in love with. But I like this idea. It's not brand new, but they're always trying to improve on it. So in this case, you have twine running down to the base of the plant, and as the vine grows up, you wind it around the twine, and you've got your support system. It's easy to do, it's inexpensive, and it's certainly worth a try. At the heart of the Common Ground Fair is the farmers market, and it only makes sense with over 400 certified organic farms in the state. This is just a sampling of the quality of produce that comes from here. The fleece tent speaks to the diversity of the fair. If you're a hand spinner, this is the place to be. This event marks 36 consecutive years that the Wednesday Spinners have been spinning together at the Common Ground Fair. Their ages range from 15 to 80, with more than 700 cumulative years of spinning experience. If you're curious to see livestock up close, this is the place, especially for unusual or heritage breeds. Or if you're considering adding an animal to your farming operation, the livestock area is an excellent place to start learning about your options. All of these animals have knowledgeable people with them to share their experiences and stories and answer your questions. It's educational and fun, as thousands of people can attest. Another popular attraction of the fair is watching the sheepdogs demonstrate their herding talents. Crowds gather around the large field 3 times a day to see these animals gracefully maneuver the livestock exactly where they're intended to go. One of the qualities that make this state such an ideal place for this popular event is the recognition by fairgoers of their role in environmental stewardship. With over 90% of its land forested and nearly 3,500 miles of tidal coastline, Maine is a treasure trove of nature and biodiversity. So it's no surprise that organizations that focus on environmental, wildlife, and marine concerns have displays here, and why they stay so busy. The exhibition hall is the heart of this and most country fairs. Here you'll find a celebration of the fall harvest of fruits, vegetables, flowers, and herbs. It's also perhaps the best opportunity of the year to see picture-perfect and award-winning specimens of just about everything that grows in the state, including many varieties of most of the edible crops. It's one thing to see pictures in catalogs or on a seed pack, but there's nothing like being able to see it in person. Another highly anticipated event in this hall is the traditional seed swap. Hundreds of growers save and share seeds from some of their best or most unusual plants and then trade them out with others. It's a fun and easy way to add to your collection while passing on some of your favorites for others to try. It's also an important way to ensure that certain varieties continue to be actively grown and preserved for future generations. In fact, seed saving is so important for preserving our horticultural history and diversity. Perhaps the best known place for this is Seed Savers Exchange in Decorah, Iowa. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to saving and sharing heirloom seeds. Since 1975, when it was established, members have been collecting and distributing thousands of samples of hard-to-find garden seeds to other gardeners. If you'd like to learn more, we did an entire episode there, and you can watch it on our website at growingagreenerworld.com. What an event! And it really is gratifying to see so many people come together in the celebration of farming and food, because that's what it's all about, really. But if you like what you saw today and you'd like to learn more, we have all that information on our website under the show notes for this episode. The website address is the same as our name. It's growingagreenerworld.com. And if you come back to the Common Ground Fair, give yourself the luxury of time, because there really is a lot to see and learn, and you don't want to try to pack it all into one day. I'm Joe Lample. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here next time for more Growing a Greener World.
It was a good day, wasn't it?
I really enjoyed that and learned a lot. All right, racing. Whoa. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Go. You won. Good job. Woo! All right. It's huge. It's a huge step. All right, act like you're driving it. Put your hands up there. Good job.